How's everybody doing? I know Teresa's here because she told me she was. So hi, Teresa. I know I'm a couple minutes early, but I was done and y'all were already here, so. Okay. Hi, Lippy. Hey, buddy. Hey, Freaky. Hey, Junkyard. How are you, darling? That's a good thing. It will make it much easier for you to read, Lippy. Hey, Allie. I've been trying to call you, but I cannot call you because the number I have may not be yours. I don't know what the deal is. Anyway. But hi, Allie. I love you, honey. Hey, Allie. How are you? How are things up in Canada? Hey, Christy. Everybody been having a good day? Just trying to let a few more people get in here before we start going through this so I don't have to keep repeating myself. That is a good point, Freaky. Oh, no. Ah, that would explain it, Allie. Hey, Diane. How are you, honey? Hey, Mr. Buddy. Yeah, you guys have been dealing with a lot up there. I know I've got family in Montana. They've been getting a lot of it, too. It's been crazy. My sister and brother have one of the big fires is about 20 miles from their house. Aw, thank you, Teresa. I got sleep in a shower. That helped. Southern Ohio. Well, hi, darling. How are you? Oh. Hey, Mary Beth. How are you, honey? So, for those of you who don't know, Andy is in Nashville, back in the hospital. Um, oh, I'm so happy you did too, Allie, and we'll catch up when you get home and you have better service. Hey, Cal. So, before I get started, there's a lot we know, a lot we don't know. I'm just going to tell you now. If you have questions, do me a favor, put them in all caps. If I don't see them, one of my mods will, and they'll remind me, okay? But I will try to pay attention to all of them and catch them as I can. But please don't get offended if I miss a question. You can always repost it if I miss it, we miss it. It's nothing personal against you, but there's more of y'all than there is of me. That's all I'm saying, okay? So we left Saturday morning early. We left at 5 o'clock in the morning to come to Nashville because the people in Jackson told us that he needed a higher level of care than they were capable of doing. And they told us he needed this massive surgery, and I don't blame her. I'd be gone all the time too if I could. I don't blame her. Anyway, they needed this. He was going to have this life-altering massive surgery, and there was total blockages, and he was just really sick. And eventually, you're right. You are absolutely right. You can also leave a comment after this is posted. Hey, Quinoa, how are you? So, we left early Saturday morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. Yes, I actually got myself out of bed at 4 in the morning. Can y'all believe that? We left to come to Nashville. It's about a little over a 2-hour drive, just a little over. And y'all, I felt absolutely horrible. I felt like an idiot. We got 30 minutes from here, and I realized that I had forgotten my wallet, which meant I had no ID. I had no money. I had no bank card. I had nothing. Thank you. We had to turn around and go back, literally, because I can't get in the hospital without an ID, which means, so my poor honey hurting and in pain, and fortunately he had one pain pill left that he had taken earlier, so it got him through it, but we had to drive all the way back to Beach Bluff, and then back to Nashville, so that 2-hour drive turned into a little over 6 hours, and yeah, so I felt horrible, but we got here, we got him checked in. I will tell you that the parking garage in this hospital is the most effed up place I've ever seen in my life, and I have some video of it. which will come out shortly after I get home because I need my editing software to tone some of it down, speed some of it up, whatever. But that's another story. So we got here, and when you first get to the ER, they won't allow you in with the patient. He goes in by himself until they have him in the back in an area, in either a curtained room or a room or whatever. So they took him in, and it really only took about an hour, maybe 45 minutes to an hour, something like that. He messaged me he was in a room, and so I went back to see him. When I got there, the emergency doctor was already in there with him. And he asked us, was this a hospital transfer? Because we had told him that Jackson told us that he needed a higher level of care than what they were capable, and we needed to be in Vanderbilt. And I said no. They told us they could not do the hospital transfer because he doesn't have insurance, that they wouldn't be able to get that approved. And the doctor looked us dead in the eyes and he said, that's illegal. Really? So, you're still waiting on your tacos. Andy is officially in the chat, you guys, if you want to say something, say hi to him. He is probably on good drugs, so forgive him if he types typos or whatever, but he's here. Anyway, so, and then this doctor, he says, well, we're going to get you in here and figure out what's wrong. So, yeah, it's illegal. So, they got him, and we stayed in there about, I want to say about 4 to 5 hours that we were in that room, and they did a CAT scan, and they needed to get the records from Jackson, from the hospital in Jackson. Y'all, honestly, your chat is rolling so fast, I am not reading chat, so if you have a question, let me get through all this for a minute, and then I can go read questions, okay? If y'all don't mind, please. if I don't answer you, then I'll tell you when to repeat it. Anyway, about 4 or 5 hours, I guess, and then they moved him to what they call TCU, which is a transitional care unit. It is technically still part of the ICU. Hey, Skeeter, darling, how are you? It's kind of like you're still in the ER, but it's almost like I don't know what you call it. It's just one big long area, and there's curtained areas, and there's a bed in each curtain. You know what I mean? But it's a little bit more comfortable a bed rather than just the little thin mattress that you have in the ER beds. This is more like the regular hospital beds. A little bit quieter. There's not so much, stuff going on around you. And I think they've only got like 14 beds in there, back there, I think. Hey, Rosanna. Excuse me. So we stayed there from Saturday evening. I'm going to say it was around 5 or 6 o'clock. Until yesterday. Yeah, yesterday they moved him upstairs to a regular room. It took that long to get the room upstairs because the hospital is just full. It's a full hospital. But he was comfortable, so we were okay. I stayed with him the first couple of nights. And then Monday, one of my friends that I just adore, her name's Nancy, she had some points saved up on one of her rewards things, and she very graciously booked me a hotel for the week. So I've got until Friday morning. When I leave here Friday, I'll have to check out. But she very graciously got me this hotel room off of her points. So it didn't cost her anything, but it made a huge, huge difference for me. So we start in the ER. They move us to the transitional unit, and they're trying to get the records from Jackson. They want to run what's called an MRCP, which is basically an MRI with the dye contrast. Well, they can't do that until they know what kind of stent he has in. If it's a metal stent, obviously you can't go in an MRI with a metal stent. It would be like putting a fork in a microwave. You can't do that. If it's the regular fiberglass or mesh or whatever, then he's fine. But they can't risk it, so they need to know what it is. So they call Jackson on Saturday afternoon. And Jackson told them that, well, that department's closed. I mean, it's closed. We don't have anybody over there. They tried all day Sunday. And we're told that, well, those are in records, and their records department is just closed. And the doctors here were even like, well, don't you have any of the attending physicians that can just look at his record? And We don't need the whole record right now. We can wait on the rest of it, but it's kind of important, that we need to know what type of stent was put in. That wouldn't happen. Wouldn't do anything. Hey, Owen, how are you, honey? If any of y'all came in and I didn't see you, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. But, so Monday morning at 7 o'clock, the nurse is calling. The doctors are calling. The radiologists are calling. Everybody is calling Jackson Hospital to try and get these records. Can't get them, can't get them, can't get them. And finally, one of the resident doctors from internal medicine came in, and she brought a second form for Andy to fill out for a release of the records. And in giant red letters at the top, she wrote urgent, and it took administrators getting involved and calling over there and just, this is kind of ridiculous. Do we need to report? Because by law, you have to provide this information. This is urgent. We're telling you this is urgent. They didn't get us that information until almost 4 o'clock at night that afternoon. All day. Literally all day. When all they had to do was just literally push one button and send it through the system that transfers records for them. So they finally got it, and they were able to do that, to determine that, thank you, Rosanna. They were able to determine that the stents he had in were safe for the MRI. So they went ahead and scheduled it. They did the MRCP yesterday. Y'all, they came back and they told us before they did the MRCP, they had looked at their CAT scan. They don't see the stents. I said, what do you mean you don't see the stents? We know there's 2 of them in there. I'm sorry, hold on a second. That was a long note. Oh, you're right, Kelly. I won't ask. They don't see them. They don't know what happened to them. But he said it could be that they're just not showing because, Jackson's telling us we've got this massive scarring, and maybe they're just not showing through the scar tissue, that kind of stuff. And so we'll wait. We'll get the results of the MRCP. That'll give us more information. So they came in this morning, and they said, well, we don't see the stents. They're not there. So what do you mean they're not there? What happened to them? We don't know. It is quite possible that at some point over the last year that he's had these, that they dislodged on their own and passed through his system, just out the bowels. But we don't know. We don't see them. The MRI does not show massive blockage like Jackson said. They said there are some narrowing in a few spots, but nothing that would be a total blockage like they're saying. That's possible, Skeeter. That's very possible. So we start questioning all kinds of things. But for right now, and we'll get into that in a minute. So for right now, there is definitely pancreatitis. There is a flare of the pancreatitis. There is fluid in the pancreas. They've been giving him tons and tons of fluid to try and flush everything out. There is one more cyst on the pancreas, which is consistent with pancreatitis, which is basically an abscess from the infection. So that we know for sure is going on. There is some pancreatitis. They're not 100% sure yet what's the best way to progress. And what they're saying is that, they just want to make sure that they give him what he needs to get better. What's best for him, what needs to be done. So the internal medicine team that came in today and told us all of this, they're going to do the consult today with the GI team. There's a whole team of doctors. They've had nutritionists, they've had the internal medicine, they've had GIs. I think they even had cardiologists look at his stuff just to do a consult. We haven't seen him, but I think they had him just look at everything because they did an EKG and that kind of stuff. Everything there looks okay. But so they're all getting together and doing this big consultation and decide, hopefully we'll have some answers tomorrow, what GI is recommending at this point. So for now, he is being kept comfortable with pain meds. They are starting to try to wean him off of the IV pain meds and down to just the pills. He's been getting a mix where he gets the IV med, and then he would get the pills, and then he would get an IV and then the pills, so that he wasn't getting straight harsh opioids. So they're now starting to wean him, in their words, it said, because it's not as severe as Jackson made it out to be, they're hoping to be able to get this solved for him and get him out of there before too much longer. But before they could even think about, just releasing him at any point, he cannot be taking the IV pain meds. So he's got to come off of them, which is okay as long as it's controlling it. So they increased the dosage on the oxycodone, the pills. They've just increased that dosage and shortened the duration that he can have between them. And hopefully, we're hoping that's going to be good. So that's kind of what I know. Until now, like I said, I haven't, at this point, we're waiting on them to tell us, hopefully tomorrow, what's going on. But we do know that he's not as severely, oh my gosh, emergency, we're going to take half your body out, the way Jackson led us to believe. Thanks, Skeeter. Yes, there is definitely pancreatitis. Yes, there is definitely some narrowing. Yes, there are things going on, but not as desperate as Jackson made it. He's not on death's door at the moment. So we're hoping they'll have some answers. But I will tell you this. The level of care and the staff have been night and day. And I'll tell y'all what I mean. When I say the level of care, not just him, but of me. The first night that we were in the ER, by the time they got everything transferred, visiting hours were over, which meant if I left the ER, I couldn't get back in. And so it's in the description, Diane. If I left the ER, I'm sorry, I got distracted. If I left the ER, I wasn't going to be able to get back in. So the patient care nurse, which is basically the nurse assistant, you have an RN and then you have the nurse assistant, and they call it a patient care representative. And she looked at me and she said, oh, well, I'll go out with you because I needed my meds. All of my meds were in the truck. And I had not realized, being that it was a weekend, visiting hours, not thinking about it, were going to be shorter. So my meds were in the truck, and by then I was hurting. I was really hurting. And thank you, Kelly. She looked at me and she says, well, I'll walk you. That way you can get back in, because I've got my key card. I can get you back in. And I said, well, thank you, but it would take me too long right now because I am hurting some. It's a slow walk for me. It would take me at least 45 minutes to make it all the way out there and back, because, y'all, this is a big place, and it's a long walk out to that garage, let me tell you. All the way across the hospital, across the street, and then halfway across the parking garage. Elvis. So she looked at me and she said, oh, no problem, I'll be right back. I'll just go get a wheelchair. I'll take you out there. I was like, what? You don't have to do that. Well, yeah, dude, I'll be right back. And she literally went and got a wheelchair, brought it back, picked me up, and wheeled me all the way out to the parking garage so that I could get my medicine and bring me back into the hospital. I mean, who does that? Jackson sure as heck wouldn't have done it. I promise you that. But the level of care, he saw and was thoroughly examined by more doctors in the first 24 hours than he was the entire year that he was in Jackson. So the level of care here is just night and day. The staff is amazing. They're caring. They're generous. It was awesome. I went, it got a little bit expensive. The first few days eating was really expensive because hospitals aren't cheap. So I went the other day, yesterday, I bought some peanut butter and jelly and some ham and cheese and some bread and some blueberry muffins for breakfast, and I'll get by. I can have sandwiches. In fact, I had a sandwich right before we came on here. I came back just in time. Thank you, Kelly. So that's kind of where we're at. Now, I'm going to look at this, and I'm probably not going to scroll back through all of this chat because there was so much of it. So if you did ask a question and I didn't answer you, please ask me again, or if you want something you want me to see, if you wouldn't mind, because on my phone it's really hard to go all the way back and I'll miss what's coming in. So I will now pay attention to chat and answer you as I go if you have any questions or you want to know anything. And otherwise, I'll just sit here and ramble for a little while. And I can't see a phone, y'all. So one of y'all let me know when it gets to 8 o'clock, okay? Because I can't see my phone. Yeah, hey, Benz, how are you, darling? Yeah. That's for sure, Skeeter. You're still waiting on your cheese puffs. Thanks, Lippy. I am doing okay. Like I said, they've even taken care of me, making sure if I needed a blanket or if I needed something to drink in the middle of the night or whatever after the cafeteria closed, and but the cafeteria stays open until 2 in the morning. Allie, you just go in the description of this video, copy it, and then paste it into a message. It'll do it automatically for you. You have 8:18 there? Well, it's 7:18 here. You're a little ahead of me. You need hello? I'm guessing she meant jello and call it cheese puffs. Yep, see? I don't know why on my phone, if I actually back a comment up, then it won't keep up with comments. I have to keep scrolling. Is that not crazy? I know. Andy's definitely got some lifestyle changes to make. He's got to cut back on fatty foods. And I will say this, though. Andy doesn't eat a whole lot of fatty fried foods. Being off grid for the most part as far as our cooking, most of it's done on the grill or in the Instapot. Kelly put it up there a little bit ago, Allie. I'm sure she can redo it or if you need it, if they need to. But what she's asking about my PayPal link, if you need it, it is in the description of my video. I'm not asking y'all for nothing but prayers. I want to make that really clear, as clear as I can be. If God puts something on your heart, that's between you and God, and it would be appreciated. I'm not asking that, y'all. I just want to make sure people are praying for him, because that's what's important. We just need some answers. And we talked about with the Spence. Water and jello. Tell him, buddy. It was blue on my end, Allie. Hey, Drew, how are you? Oops, sorry, I'm blocking your camera. Sorry, guys. It was blue on my end when it posted, y'all. I'm telling you. So maybe it's just on your own that it's not. It was blue on mine. Hey, Brenda, how are you, babe? So, Mr. Andrew over there is being his usual self now, which I know so I can tell he's starting to feel a little bit better. Because he wants everything under the sun. He wants tacos and everything else. But yeah, well, I don't do a whole lot of processed foods to begin with, so we're okay there for sure. I don't. Hey, Granny Frammy, how are you, baby? But most of our stuff is done on the grill or in the Instapot. I have an electric skillet, but I very rarely fry anything. I've done like hamburger helper in my skillet. I can do chicken and rice in my skillet, that kind of stuff. I do have an air fryer / oven. I just don't have it plugged in yet, but that's not a lobster roll. Andy, she gonna witch through that phone, and that voodoo doll's coming out. You better leave her alone. We're good. So, but the room she got me is actually a really nice room. They just renovated it. It's got, y'all, and I know the ladies will know what I'm talking about. One of the get him, Lippy. Y'all know those oh, Skeeter. I love you, Skeeter. Thank you so much, darling. But those really, this one I'm sure it's imitation, but the really thick down comforters that are so heavy and warm and just kind of wrap around you. Y'all know those what I'm talking about, ladies? Yeah, that's what's on these beds. And they're so comfortable. Brand new beds, brand new carpet, brand new fixtures, brand new lamps. I mean, they've just recently redone this room. It's really nice. And there's a Waffle House 50 feet from my door if I'm really that hungry. I mean, I am not going there because I literally don't need to spend the kind of money, but oh, that's awesome. 107 is a great number, Junkyard. Does anybody else have any questions? Or there are things about Jackson that we are going to look into, and I don't really want to say too much. things that aren't adding up and aren't making sense. But we are considering speaking to a lawyer, not just because of what he's been through, but possibly um, being able to prevent somebody else from having to go through this. And because there's just things that aren't quite adding up just right. So I don't really want to go into a whole lot of that, but that is definitely something we're thinking about, that we're going to have to really pay attention to. But my hands are bad, y'all, and I tightened my soda. Most likely, Christy, I'll have to talk to them. Excuse me. Okay, Diane, thank you. I will, hon. I just heard something a minute ago, so that may have been it. And thank you. But I forgot what I was saying, y'all. Well, it's okay, the friendliness part. Jackson's a really, we're south of it's a really good area. We just need to go to the hospital. Oh, the follow-up. I'm sorry, Christy. I would assume so, but I would assume so. It's also under my Country Girl email. If you just use my Country Girl email, just go to PayPal. If you can't do the link, if it's not working for you, my Country Girl email is what it's under. You can just put the email address in there. But we don't know exactly yet what they're going to do, what has to be done, what they think, the treatment-wise. So we'll go from there and figure that out. So, but there's just a lot of questions, a lot of things that don't make sense. And I finally feel like for the first time, and I made a point of telling them, the nursing and the doctors and the ER department, I made a point of telling them how much it meant. Yes, it's under that email. So if you just go to paypal.com and enter that email address, or open your app if you use the app, just use that email address. Diane says just search on PayPal for Country Girl, just the word, all one word, and it comes right up, which is what it's under, Country Girl. But I made a point to tell them how much it has meant to me that they actually care, and that for the first time I don't feel like he's just being shoved in a corner, given some medicine and sent home, that somebody actually wants to figure out what's going on and actually cares. And I'll tell y'all, if you're in this situation, a lot of times all the doctors and nurses, especially in emergency rooms, that kind of stuff, all they hear is people that are mad. They're hurting, they're scared, they're tired, they're irritable, they're not always kind. You guys, if you see something and you get someone like we've experienced with, exemplary service, tell them. Make their day. Let them know that what they do matters, because it does. And how much it meant to me, and how much it means to Andy and to his family. So never be afraid to tell somebody when they're doing a good job. Too often people just want to say something when they're complaining. That's just my tip for the day. My social awareness, thank you. So, what else is going on, y'all? What's going on with y'all? I haven't caught up with any of y'all lately either. Oh, and I will say a very, very special thank you to Lippy and Allison. They have kept me sane. Those two women have kept me sane. I can't say enough to both of them. I just can't say thank you enough. It is true, and I know Roseanne's been through a lot too with herself and family, that it makes a very, very big difference. But honestly, and there are many others. Kelly, Brenda, all of them have been there. My girls, my sisters have been there for me. Lippy and Allison kept me laughing my butt off. They've let me cry. They've let me holler. Skeeter's birthday's Friday. Well, happy birthday, darling. And don't get me, and I'm not dissing anybody. Like I said, Kelly and Brenda and, a couple of others, Christy, that have just talked to me and kept me distracted. And I tell you, oh, hey, Teresa. I have been very blessed. I am very blessed to have so many people that care and so many people that are willing to be there for me. And yes, I said you too, Miss Kelly. My sisters are the world to me. There's Miss Allison. So my girls are amazing, and I love y'all just to the moon. To all of y'all that have been there, that have let me laugh and cry and scream and shout. You're an advocate at the hospital. I did not know that. Now I know that, don't I? But it does make a difference. The people that help you, whether it's your friends, whether it's your in-laws, whether it's the guy in the room next door that just smiled and made your day, when you were having a hard time. Don't be afraid to tell people when something's good, y'all, because it can make the difference. I did have one exciting thing. Yesterday, I was getting ready to leave to come back to the hotel, and this announcement comes over the loudspeaker. Okay. Thank you, sis. So, this announcement comes over the speaker, and they keep repeating it. So, they're really looking for this kid. It's an 18-year-old male with blue shorts and white t-shirt and long hair, and they need to find him. And it's obviously, they're desperate to find him. They keep making this announcement over and over and over again as I'm walking down the hallway. So I get on the elevator, and in steps this, absolutely, Lippy, you are so right. In steps this young kid with long hair and a white t-shirt and blue shorts. And I'm going, and now I'm kind of locked in this elevator with this guy. And I'm going, Lord, I hope he's just wanted because he's gotten lost somewhere and he's not some criminal on the loose. But he got off on the second floor, which is where the cafeteria is. And so I got to the bottom floor, and I immediately went to the security guard that's right there, and I told him that I saw the guy. I said, well, at least somebody that matches that description, exactly to a T what was the description was. And I don't know what happened after that. He just thanked me for letting him know, and he was on the radio sending units to that floor. I said, well, got off the elevator, he turned toward the cafeteria. So that was kind of exciting. I don't know, I don't know what else other than that. And Skeeter's going to have a birthday, which is awesome. I would love to tell you that I'll remember to call you, Skeeter, and sing you happy birthday, but I may not remember. So, oh, I love you, Allie. Allie and I clicked from day one. There's another one of those people that, there's just people in your life that you meet and you just instantly click. And you may not talk to them every day, but they're always constantly in your heart and always there if you need them, because you know that there's a reason God brought them. The Arrogant Worms birthday song. I don't know about that. Hey, Cher. You guys, you see, just came in. Nana's Menagerie. That is Cher. Yeah, they just click. You just do. And Allie and I from day one, and JD. I don't get to talk to Allie as often as I'd like because she doesn't have the Facebook, and I don't have cell service at home, so we don't get off to talk as often as I'd like. But she is forever in my heart. Forever. I have never heard it before, no. And y'all just keep sharing your prayers as well. She's, finally got some decent help, I think. She is home. And from what I understand, a little bit better. She's got a long road to go, too. She's still got a long way to go. But y'all just keep her in your prayers for healthy and speedy healing for her as well. So, and that is her other personal channel outside of the two fams. If you're not surprised. If you're not subscribed to her, y'all go check out her channel. It's her single channel, just her, separate from the two fam. And it's pretty awesome. She puts some cool stuff up there. And, and another thing I tell people, people ask me, how can we help? Well, while we're going through all this, I can't make videos. Even though I am feeling better now and I'm finally back at a point where I can start making videos. Okay, well, I'll check it out. Andy obviously can't make them, you know, in here. Oh, let me share. Exactly, Junkyard. That was nice of you. It never hurts to do something kind for other people.